Hello, welcome to Motorpoint. I'm Tim, and this is the Mk8 Volkswagen Golf, the latest version of Volkswagen's iconic family hatchback that really needs no introduction other than to say it comes from a time when Volkswagen briefly named all its cars after really posh sports. We had Golf, we had Polo. Luckily they stopped before we got to the Volkswagen shooting animals while wearing red trousers. Sorry, that was a terrible joke. This is actually named after a misspelled wind. This version of the Golf came out in 2020, a weird time for Volkswagen. It was investing heavily in its ID.3 electric car and more people were buying its SUVs than hatchbacks. So does it still have relevance? We're going to find out, but the big changes over the previous version were on the inside, so let's look at them. Don't think that tweeting bird is that interested. We'll talk more about the outside of the car in a minute, but it's the inside where there was a real step change for Volkswagen with this version of the Golf. And I kind of feel like they did miss the mark a bit. They've gone for minimalism. They've taken away as many physical buttons as possible. So you've got touch sensitive buttons on the steering wheel, which are just a bit fiddly to use. You can slide them or prod them, and yeah, you can knock them accidentally. The touch screen, everything is done through the touchscreen, including the climate controls, and you've got to wait for the car to boot up. So on a cold winter's morning, that has to wake up before you can demist your windscreen. And there's loads of safety tech which can help you swerve out of potential crashes, but you almost feel as if you need it because you're prodding so much stuff down here just to warm your feet. It's a little bit infuriating compared to the previous version. It's just not as easy to use. Does have wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto though, which is a massive saving grace. Now admittedly, this is a top spec R-Line version of the Golf Mk8, so you get these really supportive, sporty seats, which are stopping me turning around to look at you. Do get a digital dashboard as standard though in most Mk8 Golfs. It just looks nice, posh, and makes the car feel really modern. Don't think the material quality in here is quite as nice as in the previous version of the Golf, but it's okay. Loads of storage. Automatic gearbox versions get a diddy little gear knob, and I think Volkswagen has shrunken its knob so you can have a bit more storage space in here if you go for that version, and you still get felt-lined door pockets. Now the Golf's always had a bit of a reputation of being roomy in the back considering it's a small-ish car, and that still rings true here. I've got headroom, I've got knee room, and the back of the seat is squidgy anyway, so if you're tall, it's not going to be uncomfortable. I've got two USB-C sockets down here so I can charge my phone to give directions to the driver who's probably shouting at the infotainment system, and I've got little pockets here for my phone. They feel a bit weird. It feels like you're walking around holding onto someone's jean pockets from behind. Don't know why you would do that, don't do that. But yeah, it's nice in here. You've got ISOFIX on the outer two seats and you've got one on the passenger seat as well. So you can actually use this as a family car for all your kids, presuming you haven't got as many kids as Madonna. Now, before the video gets taken down for saying that, let's show you some more of the outside. Now the front is as unmistakably golfy as a man in tartan at St Andrews, but it's a bit slimmer, sleeker than before. You've got this cool chrome bar across the front. R-Line versions like this, which is a top spec version, gets this R badge. The actual Golf R, the fast one, that gets the same badge but filled in silver. And then there's GTD and GTE versions for the fast diesel and the fast hybrid version. And obviously there's the iconic GTI as well. But yeah, it's a Golf, isn't it? Let's look at the side. Now this might surprise some people on the internet, but Volkswagen isn't a charity and they like to make money. That's why they ditched the 3-door body style for the Mk8 Golf, only selling a more profitable 5-door version, slightly longer, wider and taller than it was before. And you can still buy it as the Golf Estate, which is actually a good car to look at if you're looking at a Passat because it's just sexier and a bit nicer and you don't have to explain to your friends that you bought a Passat. Now, as we all know, Volkswagen is obviously a very hedonistic, freewheeling organisation with booze-fueled marketing meetings, and that's why they name all their alloy wheels after cities. These ones are called Valencia on the R-Line. The previous Golf GTI came with Milton Keynes wheels. I'm not even joking, they just went round and round in circles all day. Anyway, the R-Line gets tinted rear windows, it gets sportier bumpers with fake exhausts, boo hiss, and all Mk8 Golfs come with front and rear parking sensors, which is very handy if you're as rubbish at parking as I am. R-Line versions, it's worth noting, also get LED tail lights and headlights, so you can see and be seen. As I keep saying, the Golf has always been a practical car for its size, and that's not changed with the Mk8. It's a 381 litre boot, which is about the same size as the previous Golf, and it's the same size if you get a 4-wheel drive version. If you get a mild hybrid version, it's 381 litres, and it's got an adjustable boot floor as well. Now, there are several ways in which I could show you what fits in here, but the only one I care about is the Motorpoint Big Boot Challenge, which the only challenge is whether or not I've bought nice new suitcases. I haven't, but I will when we hit 10,000 subscribers. bribery, it works. How in the name of all that's holy did they fit? I'm amazed that they all fit, but they did fit, and that's probably too much excitement for one YouTube video, so we're going to take this out for a drive now to find out if it's a nice companion on the open road. Right, let's go for a drive in the Mk8 Golf, and the first thing you notice when you hop in this is it is so easy to drive. The cumulative billions of euros that Volkswagen has spent over the years on perfecting the ergonomics of this car still pay off. It's just a very comfortable driving position. There's a huge range of adjustment in the steering wheel and the seat, so anyone of any size can get comfortable. Now, the engines are fairly traditional. There is a 1 litre petrol with 110 horsepower and 3 cylinders. There's a 1.5 petrol with or without mild hybrid with 130 or 150 horsepower. There's automatic gearboxes, there's manual gearboxes, there's a 2 litre diesel. And that sounds more complicated than it really is, but that is the engine range. There's the GTE, which is the powerful 245 horsepower plug-in hybrid. And then there's the GTI, which has the same power from a 2 litre petrol engine. And then there's the Golf R, which has 300 horsepower. I've probably forgotten one, but there's basically a big range of normal engines, but no electric option because Volkswagen's electric car of this size is the ID.3, as I've mentioned. But anyway, we're going to get some dual carriageways and talk about how it feels at motorway speeds. And then we're going to go on some twisty roads to talk about the handling. Right, I'm going to accelerate up to 70 miles an hour. I've got the 150 horsepower, 1.5 litre manual, non-mild hybrid, and that is 70 miles an hour. It feels really quite quick, this 150 horsepower engine. It's quite nice to use. Now, wind noise at 70 miles an hour is pretty good. It's pretty refined in here. Barely any tyre noise either. It's not completely hushed, but it's pretty good. Visibility all around is really good. I've got these little windows down here so I can see out over the front in town for cyclists. And as I said, I've got loads of safety kit. And the adaptive cruise control in this car, if you spec it, is aware of upcoming junctions and roundabouts and things like that. And if you get the automatic gearbox, it can let you crawl along in traffic without having to do any of the pedals yourself, which is quite nice. And obviously it's a very safe car, really good Euro NCAP score, and it is a Golf. It's built like a tank. But anyway, let's get some country roads and talk about how it handles. Right, we're on the twisty country roads now, and this is where we can talk about how the Golf feels when you drive it a bit quicker down twisty road. And it feels really impressive, to be honest. It feels quite light, it feels very nimble and very grippy as well. So you can sense it's a good base for the sporty GTI version. Even this, a normal R-Line version, feels sporty. But the ride isn't terrible. I feel connected to the road, but it's not jiggly and annoying. You can spec adaptive dampers for an extra 800 quid, I think it is, when they're new. But to be honest, I don't think you really need them. For your family hatchback, this does the job perfectly well. They can put a smile on your face as well. So well done, Volkswagen. It's a decent car to drive. A Focus might be a little bit more hilarious, but who needs hilarious when you've got your kids in the back screaming blue murder? Anyway, let's go back to Motorpoint for an outro. While the Volkswagen Golf might have lost its default car crown to SUVs from Kia, Hyundai and Volkswagen itself, it's still a really good do-it-all practical family hatchback. However, it is a bit of a faff to use compared to the previous one, thanks to the infotainment system, and perhaps it's not as much of a revolution as a new Golf should have been, but if you want a do-it-all, posh-feeling family hatchback, then fill your boots. Thank you ever so much for watching. Remember to go to motorpoint.co.uk to see our full range of nearly new cars, including Mk8 Golfs, available to drive away today or have delivered to your house. And do remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel because we've got plenty more used car reviews coming very soon. I'll see you next time.